All right, let's move on to a game where we know both teams will show up. Oklahoma, Alabama, Friday, December 19th, 8 p.m. in Norman. Alabama at DraftKings, 1.5 point favorite, total 40 and a half. It's a rematch from a game earlier this season. Alabama was a 6.5 point favorite, lost outright, but outgained, doubled up Oklahoma in yards. There are some injury questions. Alabama defensive lineman LT Overton, their running back Jam Miller, tight end Josh Cuevas, defensive tackle Kelby Collins. Oklahoma, their defensive end who might go in the first round, R. Mason Thomas. I think he's going to play. That's pretty big. Their cornerback Gentry Williams, and then they've had offensive line injuries all year. I think Thomas is going to play, which I think is big. This is this is you could make the case that Alabama dominated in the first meeting, which is fair. I don't care. This Alabama team's trending in the wrong direction. I don't know if Simpson's fully healthy. They cannot run the ball, whether Jam Miller's in there or not. I this Oklahoma defense at home at night. And by the way, with extra time to prepare, Mateer gets extra time to get healthier. You give Venables extra time to come up with a game plan against a one-dimensional offense that he's already seen that's trending in the wrong direction. At home at night, the home field here is like 4-1, 4-2, juiced up to the gills. What did we see last year with these home teams in the first round of the playoff? Ohio State destruction of Tennessee. I think the home teams all went 4-0, right?
Yes, and covered.
And covered, yeah, 4-0 against the spread. Um, so the home field here with that defense, and do not, this is the kicker for me. Do not sleep on the special teams advantage for Oklahoma. Alabama special teams have been a mess. Their kicker is not reliable. You saw the Georgia game. They get a block punt. Oklahoma special teams, one of the best in the country. Tate Sandell, think he's going to win the Luke Rosa. He was worth like one and a half points to every game. That's how good he was this year. He didn't miss from above 50. Guy is a weapon in a game with a total of 40. That is important. Boomer Sooner. Give me Oklahoma. I will say, little teaser. It's three versus one. One of us likes Alabama. You know that I like Oklahoma. Two others of us like Oklahoma. Collin, are you on my side?
Didn't you take Alabama in our recap show? I was like, we only had two
Well, I
disagreements.
said just off the cuff when I was filling out the bracket but after digging into it,
Okay,
I'm on Sooners.
just checking because I've been pro Oklahoma since the second that
I'm
bracket
putting
came
it
out.
on,
Oh
putting it
yeah,
on the
yeah, yeah,
board.
yeah. Put it on the board. I mean, for me, it's about market entry right now, right? Like I want a juiced money line. I'd like better than plus 100, minus 110. I'd like maybe plus 120 on Oklahoma. You've already said this. I didn't have any notes in the script, but you've already said it. I don't think we've properly assessed what home field advantage is in a college football playoff game after what happened last year.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a factor here with Boomer Sooner. By the way, fingers crossed. I'm trying to get my credentials for this and go cover it for us. Hopefully, I
Oh,
get some
I mean, it's
insight.
going to be
Yeah,
absolutely
I,
electric there.
I'm
And oh,
not
by the
sure
way,
I'm
I
again.
updated my numbers now, make Alabama a favorite, and I mean, not make Oklahoma a favorite after this past weekend. I have Vandy favored over both.
Oh
Anyway,
God, here we go. This is not a Vandy pod. All right, so I have Oklahoma minus two, but it doesn't matter. There's a lot of things going on. You mentioned the injuries, but what you're not mentioning is like even if Jam Miller is healthy, he's not effective. Ty Simpson has never been on this availability report. I think he's hurt. There is smoke, and one of my
his
sources
back,
even
they've
said
always were working on his back, and he just wasn't the same quarterback in the last month.
his on target rate has dipped week after week after week. And I think that's more injury related than talent related. Ryan Williams has had that hip issue. I don't think it ever went away. I talked to a scout this week over text that was telling me about his move to the inside from the outside, doing more slot, has kind of gotten into his brain. He doesn't want to cross over the middle. There are problems all over this Alabama team right now. And now there's additional noise in case Michigan gives Kalen DeBoer a call. But outside of that, right, ask yourself a question. Alabama averaged 1.3 net yards per play better than Oklahoma in their own stadium, and they didn't get it done. 11 offensive possessions. The Tide posted two explosive drives. That means 10 yards per play. And they had three methodicals, which means they had three drives with 10 plays. You still didn't get it done against Oklahoma in your own building? I can't get over this box score about how much they screwed it up. And if you want to look at the one big thing, 243 hidden yards. Hidden yards is a direct correlation to special teams, punting, field position, all the good stuff. Um, I know John Mateer only had a single touchdown. He only had like, a couple dozen rushing yards, but it fits into Alabama's chronic issues against mobile quarterbacks. And if Mateer has any kind of game where he runs for 50 yards and has a TD, that's a better advantage than anything that I see coming out of this Alabama offense. This Oklahoma defense, I cannot tell you guys how much. Number one in the nation in defensive rushing success rate, number one in defensive line yards, third in havoc. I mean, these aren't joke numbers. And special teams, let's get down to the rankings. Special teams SP plus for Oklahoma, 21st. That's Tate Sandell, and then 113th for Alabama.
Also, they're going to
Um,
get I think they're going to get R. Mason Thomas back, who's the first round draft pick who didn't play in the first meeting.
yeah. Oklahoma advances. Um, we'll see them in the next round against Indiana, which should be an absolute street fight with brass knuckles.
Daly being out for the year, that's a shame. He got hurt in the celebration. That's big for Indiana because they already lost Wyatt. Signetti, who just pores over film, finds these guys. He got Daly from Kent State. He got CJ West from Kent State. This is a team that didn't win any games 2 years prior to this, and he got drafted playing for the 49ers. I mean, Sig finds these guys, but that was unfortunate news for Daly. Stephen Daly, who was incredible against Ohio State. But yeah, that would be a street fight. And joining us on Oklahoma, Duck. Welcome.
Yeah, I mean, you just look at Oklahoma, and it hasn't been good football since that loss against the Sooners about 4.5 weeks ago. You can't run the football. Just really a bad place to be on the road in the CFP when you can't run the ball, you can't sustain drives on the ground, and now you're giving Venables 2 weeks to prepare for this passing offense with that defense that is elite in creating pressure, garnering negative plays. 115 tackles for loss, 42 sacks registered by Oklahoma this season. The defense, second nationally in yards per rush, first in rush play success rate. Alabama's not running the ball on these guys. Doesn't matter who's back there
Nothing.
in the backfield. Third in overall defensive havoc, fifth in red zone efficiency. There's just, with Alabama, there's just going to be nothing easy running or passing the ball here. And you look at the time off for Oklahoma, which could really help them getting healthier a little bit defensively, getting some O-line pieces back. Both the running backs, Xavier Robinson and Torrey Blaylock, should come back healthy. I
Mateer too.
just
I don't know if he was ever
Yeah,
fully
and
healthy.
Mateer. Yeah, and the hand. Longest stretch of time for John Mateer since the hand surgery will he'll be have been able to recover and kind of get that fixed. So for all the problems we've seen from Oklahoma, and I think we can all agree that when you watch the product on your television set, it doesn't look great offensively for Oklahoma, but that defense has had zero issue. They've been lights out all season. I think they show up ready to go here. Venables has just had the upper hand against DeBoer, offense versus defense, good on good. I think we'll see it here at home as well. That home playoff atmosphere is very real, and it's a pick 'em. Don't have to lay any points, just win the game. Yeah, that's what I want to be on here is Oklahoma on the money
And
line.
the special teams, don't sleep on the special teams. And by the way, do we talk the DeBoer on the road? And this Alabama team for years they should have lost at South Carolina. Luck box win. They should have lost at Auburn. They get the fourth down. They get all the turnovers. They get outgained by 140 yards. They lost at Florida State. I mean, this team has not been on good on the road for years. Walking into a buzzsaw here. Calabrese, you're going against the crew. You're roll tiding.
I am. I'm roll tiding on this one. So Alabama can't move the ball in this Oklahoma defense, right? Somehow they move the ball 400 yards of total offense. They lose the turnover battle 3-0. I mean, you basically coined this phrase, Stuck. Luck box. No one's overcoming a negative
It
three
was a luck
turnover
box
margin.
win for Oklahoma. Yeah, I'll give you that.
So just putting that out there. Second piece, they absolutely can't run the ball. There's 0% chance. I am not saying that they're going to run for 150 yards, but the way that the narrative is that Oklahoma is going to stuff them in a locker and just beat their brains in the trenches. If you take out sack yardage, they ran for 89 yards, gave them enough balance to be able to put them in manageable situations where the defense couldn't just
Stop.
pin
It
their
was it
ears
was
back.
one 35-yard run by Hill.
Now, I'm going to back up for a second. I think the injury concerns are very real. I'm not feeling super confident that Ty Simpson is 100%. If he's 80%, I'll probably take it. Am I going to get Jam Miller? I'm rolling the dice on those two things. I am against you guys. I'm not saying that Oklahoma is a bad play by any stretch, but I have to make a pick on this game. This is a playoff game. When I look at like all that we've just discussed in terms of the Alabama offense versus the Oklahoma defense, I've already seen them be able to move the football and be able to double their yardage. If you look at Parker Fleming's "Did we get beat that bad" graphic, one of the most egregious differentials in terms of Power Four teams the entire season, yet they lose that game by two. On the other side, all this ink spilled, in articles talking about how good the Oklahoma defense is. This offense is not good. And if they're put in a situation where Mateer does not pull a rabbit out of his hat and all of a sudden rushes for 60 or 70 yards, I don't have much faith in them at all to score more than 20 points in this game. And yes, Alabama has struggled with mobile quarterbacks, but it seems to me that Womack had a game plan that they executed and successfully kept Mateer in the pocket for the majority of the game. So in terms of like making jumps and seeing like, I'm hopeful that certain things are going to happen, it's really the injury issues. In terms of seeing it on film already, they've already done it once. Now, the home field advantage is significant. I think I would love to be catching points in this position. I think that the line is wrong, but I still think Alabama is going to find a way to win this one. I wish I was getting good plus money on this, but I'm not. I got to put my foot down between one of these two teams. I'm going to go with Alabama because if I look at Kalen DeBoer's performance in the postseason, back to his, national championships at the lower level, what he did at Washington, being able to really elevate them and against teams that essentially should have had a big talent advantage. Look at that Texas Sugar Bowl. He was able to scheme things together. He's going to be have to be deep in his bag on this one. The Michigan noise, the cloud isn't great. Another thing kind of trending against me here, but I still have faith in him as a play calling genius. That's the reason why I got the Alabama job in the first place. So I think they win a low scoring game. They're on the right side of some luck. Hopefully they don't get a freaking punt blocked. Because that's what actually cost me. I had this huge for the Action Network, huge same game parlay where I had under across the board punts on the opening drives for Georgia and Bama. All I needed was 300 total yards for the Georgia offense. They finished with 297 after a bunch of kneels at the end of the game. It was because they were constantly gifted short fields, including that block punt. So I'm going to go Bama. I've seen their offense succeed against this Oklahoma defense, and I still have my concerns about Oklahoma. I think they're a half team. They have an excellent defense, but they have to show it to me against this particular Alabama team.
Well, what does
The final
Bama
score
do?
when they won the
What
net.
does Bama do elite though? Like I don't even think Bama's elite anywhere. At least Oklahoma has an elite defense. I don't. But what does Bama do that is elite?
How then if they're not elite, which
I know. I don't think they
I'm
should
not
be in the
saying that they
playoff.
are this juggernaut offense.
They're like the 15th best team in the country, in my opinion.
How did they generate 400 yards offense against this Oklahoma
I mean,
defense?
it's
I'm
one
not even
game. I
saying
mean,
this to be childish. I'm just saying like
how
put it
did
to the pan.
Georgia only put up 120 yards on Georgia Tech? I mean, it's one game. I got to look at the whole body of work. They should have lost at Auburn. They should have lost at South Carolina. They got blown out at Florida State, a Florida State team who was horrendous, didn't even make a bowl. They could have easily lost
Mizzou.
at Missouri. I mean, this team could have had five
I
losses
mean,
this year.
in a lot of these cases, these games you're pulling, I'm going back to Jam Miller. I'm rolling the dice that this kid is going to play because he is a difference maker, not just in the run game, but also in the pass game, swing passes, being able to turn a 3 yard play into a 25-yard gain. He is somebody that needs to ball out in this game for them to hit their maximum, but they still hit north of 400 yards without him having a big game statistically. It wasn't him who got to the end zone twice out of that Alabama backfield. So it would be a cherry on top. I think I have to have it. But in terms of them being able to do it, I know it's one sample size, but like everything on the other side of the argument to me is that Oklahoma is going to dominate defense and special teams. They better, because if it's anywhere close to a draw in that situation, I think they lose this one.
Like I could say Alabama ran for -3 yards against Georgia. Oklahoma's run. It doesn't mean they're going to run for -3 yards here. It was one game. It also was at home in Tuscaloosa, where Alabama never loses, and they still lost. This is a different animal. Extra rest. I don't know. Duck, do you have anything you want to add? Colin, anything?
I
Cherries
just
on top.
Alabama does not have Ole Miss's offense where they can come in there and push OU's defense around. I mean, Ole Miss had the weapons. This is not Trinidad Chambliss. I mean, so it's not going to happen.
Duck, anything you want to add?
I mean, I think we pretty well covered it, but it's
All right.
it's going to be fascinating television on December 19th.
Jam Miller under 25 rushing yards, Calabrese.